Hello, a Rosie math teacher here to help you with my accelerated fourth period class. We are working on lesson 8-2, solving systems of equations by graphing on page 67. For tonight's homework, item number 1, you will solve each system by graphing, and then you will check the solution to see if it truly works. Here we go with item number 1. Guys, when we have two equations, remember on the last lesson on 8-1, they would give us a value of x, comma, a value of y, and they would ask, does this work as a solution to both equations in the set? Do you remember this? Now today, they don't give you options. You have to find the correct ordered pair on your own. But it's not that difficult because once you plot each equation on a graph, all you have to look for is where do the lines intersect. Does everyone understand what you're looking for? Where do the lines, what class? Intersect. Okay, at the top of your page, please write the following reminder. Y equals mx plus b. Please write this reminder. Y equals mx plus b. And remember to label the m as your what? Slope. Please write that term, slope. Then remember to label b as your what? Y-intercept. Once you realize that these equations, most of them, are written in the form of y equals mx plus b, which helps us to graph the equation. So guys, looking at your first equation, y equals x plus 4. What shall I circle as the b value as the y-intercept? Say it, class. 4. If you said 4, please wave at me. You are totally correct. So please go up your y-intercept or your y-axis. Who saw the Super Bowl last night? Did you see the interception of the football when a member of the Chiefs was throwing the football, intending for it to land in the hands of his own teammate? But instead, there was an Eagles football player who arrived directly in line to what that ball? Intercept. Now, if he had been a tiny little football player running up and down this y-axis, where would we say he had intercepted this ball?
4.
At positive 4. Please plot that on your graph right now. Start at point of origin and count what direction? Up. How many steps? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And did you plot it right here?
Yes.
Okay. Now, how many plotted points does it take to create a line?
2.
I was giving you a hint. Great job. 2. Okay, so we've got 1. Think about what we can use from the equation to give us the other plotted point. We're going to use the value of slope. And I think a lot of people might be a little concerned or a little confused because all they see in front of the x is nothing. So let me ask you this, guys. If they don't have a value of m, is it possible we do still have a slope based on the fact that an x is worth how many?
1.
Please write a 1 as the coefficient to x as the slope in front of x. Do you see how I figured out what the slope is? Now, just to keep things simple, what is the shortest way to show a rise over run that would be equal to 1? What is the quickest way? Should we use 1 over 1 or 100 over 100? 1 over 1. Do we all agree that 1 over 1 is equal to 1?
Yes.
Yes. And it's the shortest, smartest way to do rise over run for our slope. You must begin at the plotted point we already have. So rise in what direction? Go up 1. Run in what direction?
1.
Go right 1. Please do that now and plot your next point. Does yours match mine? Okay. Once you have plotted that point, create as straight of a line as you possibly can. Your computer, when you do this later, will keep it straight for you. And I'll be honest, it's actually easier to tell what you need for the intersection when you're using your online app. So it's going to help you greatly. All right, but let's go ahead while we're here and solve our second equation. We now want to graph our second equation. I'm going to erase these words that are in my way. And then let's look at your second equation. This time it says y equals what? Negative 2x minus 2. Please circle your y-intercept in that equation. Please circle your y-intercept. Tell me, class, what did you circle?
-2.
I love that answer, -2. Now plot that on the y-axis, where your little football player is running up and down the y-axis, but where does he catch the intercept? Where does he make the interception? At -2. Did you plot -2? You would be correct. And then I need a second plotted point. What can I use in this equation to find my second plotted point? Read it to me now. Okay, and what piece of it? The x or the -2? The -2. Give me a way that I could represent -2 in a rise over run situation. How could I represent that in a rise over run situation? I could say a what? -2 over top of a 1. If you ever see negative whole number, you can either put a negative in front of the numerator or the denominator, but not both. You can slide it wherever you like, but not both. So rise over run is going to be -2 over 1. Can you go what direction for -2 from your original point? What direction, class? Down how many steps? 2. And then run how many steps? To the right or to the left? To the right. Did you plot your point right here? Okay, now make your line. Go as straight as you can. This is challenging, I know. I know. I'm doing the best I can. Are you doing the best you can? So that you can see where those two lines intersect. Now, plot that point on your paper. You don't have to plot that point on your graph later, although it could be one of your points. The place where these two lines intersect is the what? The solution to both equations. Name the solution to both equations. Guys, what is the x value of this ordered pair? I love it. 2 people said -2. Great job, 2 people. All right. And then what is your y?
2.
Your y is up 2, a +2. Do we all understand how this plotted point is 2 to the left, so -2, 2 up, so +2. We're not doing rise over run there. We're just finding out the name of the ordered pair. Do you realize that's all we were doing? Okay, any questions on how we knew it should be -2, 2? And then I will just quickly tell you this. You would then go back to check it by plugging the value of x, -2, in place of that x. Plug the value of -2 in place of this x. Work out each equation. What answer for y should you get both times? 2. You should end up finding that y is equal to 2 every time you substitute -2 in place of x. Okay, guys, I want us to go ahead and work on one that might be a bit more challenging for you. Let's go to item number 4. Item number 4 is a little bit different. It's not the y equals mx plus b format, and you might be a little confused. So let's talk about x equaling -3, y equaling what? 5. Now, this one, I'm just going to tell you this ahead of time. They kind of give it away. Because if x equals -3, that's your x part of your ordered pair. If y equals 5, that's your y part of your ordered pair. But let me show you how to get it with the lines. Okay, make yourself a mark on your grid where x is -3. Is your mark right here? It should be. This is the x-axis, and you should begin at x, right? And go 1, 2, 3. Do you see now, person who is shaking your head no? Do you see why -3 on the x-axis lies here, where I'm making this bunch of white scribblies? Okay, I'm going to let that disappear. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm only going to put a little tiny mark at -3 on the x-axis. What if you had to also label -3, 1? Put where that plot would land. Put where it would land. I see a lot of people not writing. Plot where -3, 1. Plot where that would be. Did you plot right there? Plot where -3, -1 would land. Did you plot right there? Are you starting to see a pattern? Will we end up making a vertical line up and down or a horizontal line back and forth? Vertical. It ends up going perpendicular to its axis. So everybody, this is how you would graph x equaling -3. Now mark where y equals a +5. So start at point of origin, go up the y-axis. How many spaces? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So does your mark land here? Yes. Okay, and will I end up creating a horizontal or a vertical line? Horizontal, very good. Because all the way across here, the y value will always be 5. Now write the ordered pair where these two lines intersect. What is the x value when I go 1, 2, 3 to the left to get to this line? -3. Write that down as your x value. And then what is my y value as I go up? 5. Who agrees with the ordered pair -3, 5? Excellent. That is correct. And I will warn you, your homework asks you something about if there's only one solution, write the ordered pair. If there's not, write no solution or infinitely many solutions. They're skipping ahead to tomorrow's lesson, and that question is just to throw you off. All of today's lesson will have one solution. So if they say, if there's one solution, write an ordered pair, always write an ordered pair. Does everybody hear me? Always write an ordered pair. Okay, I do want to help you guys with an item that is on the back. Everybody go to the back. Whoops, I didn't mean for you to see that yet. Okay, item number 7. I'm just going to talk briefly about this so you can write things down to help you on your homework tonight. For item number 7, I'll just tell you quickly, they tell you you need to find out when both of these kids would have used the same or would have sold the same number of tickets, with number of tickets being Y. So have you heard of this before? If A is equal to B and B is equal to C, then A is also equal to C. Okay? So by the same token, by the same logic, if they are telling us they want us to find when the Y value for this equation will be equivalent to the Y value for this equation. So if this Y is going to equal this Y, and if this Y equals this, and this Y equals this, then can't we say that this part of the equation equals this part of this equation? So rewrite only those parts. On the left, we are writing 30x plus 20. Put an equal sign in between. 20x plus 50. Now when you solve to find the value of x, they've already told you x represents the number of days. That will answer their question of how many days it took. But wait, you may have forgotten a lesson we learned long, long ago, and that is when we have x on both sides, we take it away from the side with what? Lesser value. So how many x's are we going to take off both sides? Excellent. Everybody please write minus 20x, minus 20x. You can solve this mentally. What's 30 take away 20? 10. So 10x, if I were you, I'd be copying this right now, plus 20 equals, what is the only thing left to bring on down? 50. I believe you guys can solve this two-step equation on your own to find the correct number of days. I hope this helps.